Hello and welcome to SmallCap Spotlight. I'm Karunya Rao, and today we're being joined by the management of DSM Fresh Food. We have the founder of the company with us, Mr. Deepanshu Manchanda. Hi, Deepanshu. Thank you so much for taking time out and chatting with us today.
Hi, Karuna. It's my pleasure talking to you.
Now, I want to start with talking about the brand Zapfresh, which has evolved from a D2C fresh meat and ready to eat startup into a full grown listed company. Take us through the journey so far that the company has seen. If you could tell us the big milestones or the turning points which shaped the scale, the business, the credibility, and of course, leading up to your big listing.
Started in 2015. The idea germinated while in a conversation with the founder of Blinkit, Albinder, where we were just conversing about how they are, solving the new age grocery problem of delivering at home, and how meat is posing to be a challenge for them. Amongst all the grocery items, they were really struggling,
Hmm.
to standardize that experience where there's local monopolistic behavior. The local meat shops don't respect the customers enough in case of quality concerns and availability, pricing. Everything was really broken, is what, that first hand information which we got from him. This is a, very, very perennial issue. Somehow is not really being looked upon as seriously as fruit and vegetables.
Hmm.
The category lacks that kind of stability promise from stakeholders, even government levels. So we found many challenges in the value chain, right from the farmer to the wholesaler to the retailer. All the pieces, were unsolved. I think that's where I really got, interested to solve it piece by piece. So yeah, I mean, the initial days were really rough. We did get a lot of love from customers in Delhi which was our first market.
Hmm.
And we raised our small seed family seed round, and started interacting with nutrition based communities and health communities which were looking for more protein. So protein, was our major cue which we wanted to focus upon.
Hmm.
And as you must be aware that India 85-88% is nutrient deficient. So nutrition is something which we really wanted to focus upon. So yeah, the initial days, we started as an online and offline omni-channel brand from Delhi, and we invested about 5 years in one market. Until 2021, almost we were in single market, and then we grew to other markets like Bangalore and Bombay. Overall, we've seen and done a lot of trials and pilots in different formats, and been able to really understand the nuances of how we can scale and not really bleed. So that part, I think, took us almost 4 or 5 years. Consistent effort towards that really helped us.
What about your personal experiences? I mean, starting a business on your own from scratch with, great insights from a player like Blinkit. But talk to us about any experiences that you'd like to share which influenced the way you built your business.
Very good question, Karna. So I think entrepreneurship, leadership, to me, to some extent, is ingrained in you. I think the real business DNA was there. I come from a middle class business background. I didn't want to join my family business, so I wanted to pursue something of my own. Easier said than done, but I was really like, very stubborn as a person where I wanted to pursue something or go after something. So I just bang my head and learn, from the mistakes. So not afraid of mistakes, a lot of courage, high risk appetite. and I would say, a long term approach towards everything in life helped me, be a better entrepreneur.
That's quite true, actually, and very nicely put. You also mentioned that you raised some initial seed funding from within your ecosystem and your family. If could you tell us who were these initial, people who were backing
Uh,
you? What was the quantum of money that you put in the initial part of the business?
So this is not family. I'd say this was more friends and
Mm.
in the network who where you are able to, the friends are able to refer the other friends, and you create a small kitty of an angel round. We did about, $500,000 kind of seed money raise in 2015. At that point, it was the ecosystem was still developing, so it is not very mature as it is today. So the angel side of the business was also, fairly nascent in those times. So you could only rely upon people you know. So through them, I think they could see the passion, the drive. Initially, everybody bets on that, and then gradually they start seeing the proof of the pudding in terms of how the product market fit is developing, and how we are pursuing, approaching the product and the service overall. And then it's a snowball effect. It keeps moving on, and then people keep liking the product. Customers also become investors, investors become customers. So like that, the ball gets rolling.
This is a very interesting category, but also a very tough one to crack, the fresh food category. What have been some of the biggest challenges you faced, whether it's around sourcing, cold chain logistics, unit economics, getting the consumer trust, building your brand? What was the hardest puzzle to solve?
I think supply chain is very hard in this category. And when I say hard, it means that, it's very easy to procure, to buy from one wholesaler and sell it to, the customer. But the way we were looking to solve it is to the source, like
Mm.
from the farm to the folk exactly. And then there were mediators in between. So it was very difficult to, make these farmers trust you because initially the scale is small. It took us about 3 years to really stabilize the supply chain, where we are able to efficiently build the business, not just buy and sell as a trade, but essentially to source and to process from the right source, looking at the quality parameters. All of those things were, fairly important.
This is also a largely unorganized space, fresh meat and
Huh.
protein consumption market. Now that you've been an insider for a decade almost, how do you see the fresh food and meat-rich industry evolving? What are the structural shifts that you believe are going to drive growth in this industry over perhaps the next one decade?
Um, okay, so India as a country, we see a lot of food wastage in the fresh space. Almost 26% of the food gets wastage, and the perishable side of it. And that is responsible for the inflation in the commodity side, the price increase. All of that creates a challenge. For it's basically getting expensive and expensive. The reason it's getting expensive is because of lack of infrastructure.
Hmm.
And that infrastructure, I mean, is cold chain infrastructure. I mean, till date, I don't see a lot of impact, effort, development happening in the sector, because the propensity to pay that premium, which the processor is incurring by building that infrastructure, doesn't match. So if he has to spend, let's say, 10 rupees extra on per kg on a particular product, is the market ready to pay for that kind of quality and that price? That's where I think there's a mismatch. India largely remains a very price sensitive market. So, the processors end up not able to invest or invest properly in that cold chain ecosystem, which is extremely needed.
This is, not just organized, but also a very competitive space. Now, many players have come, they've explored, some stayed, some failed. What do you believe Zapfresh has done fundamentally better or differently? What has sort of helped you stay on and stay strong in this space?
So we like solving problems. That is, I think, individually with me also, I like solving challenging things, doing things which are, going the uncharted way. I'm like a little more stubborn, rebellious kind of a person. So I think that is something which we have seen in the project reflecting also, where we just don't, say no to the problems coming our way. That's number one. Number two, we don't solve problems with spending money. Okay, we really want to innovate. Now, how do you innovate? Whether you use technology, whether you use state of the art processes or some level of controls, which are industry first. Fresh chilled is extremely difficult category,
Hmm.
and I would say that it's a supply chain problem. So if you are able to build your supply chain in a very robust manner, then I think you have a better chance of success in the sector, which we have somehow been able to crack, where all the costs and all the overheads are so tightly managed
So you
that
would say that is your sustainable edge, your
yes,
supply
yes,
chain
yes.
management.
Supply chain is core in our industry, and I mean, there's no two way about it. That's the inherent nature of the business. You cannot go without it.
There are often questions about profitability and scalability in the kind of business especially that you're operating in. So, how are you looking at unit economics today? What are the levers which are most critical for you to improve your margins as you grow and as you scale?
So see, we are looking at a healthy product mix. Going forward, the plan is to diversify, add new products in the basket, which complements the main category. And there we see a margin and category contribution helping us. Further, going more in depth in certain categories like fish and seafood is something which we believe has humongous potential in the country. And so we are looking at different markets, different products, largely to improve the margins and also to create more in-depth integration at the back end.
If I want to go back to that supply chain question once again, because there are a lot of moving parts there. First is, of course, sourcing. What kind of price volatility and supply risks do you face when it comes to sourcing? And overall, because you have to ensure quality as well as pricing, how are you doing that while strengthening the supply chain?
So there are controls which we have to, put in place at every level, whether it is at a farm level or it is at a processing level. If we are able to somehow ensure that the partners are following a certain checklist
Hmm.
from a quality point of view, that enables and standardize the process at a very farm level, which generally is missing. So, for example, there is no veterinarian doctor which is available at the farm, or if there is, they don't follow the right, parameters to breed the chicken, which will result into a more a healthier chicken part of it. So there are certain checklists which we ensure gets followed. And then there is the at a slaughtering level also, where we believe a certain infrastructure is required. And then from a pricing point of view, it is very sensitive, and it remains a challenge always, where you have to ensure that we are not over extending ourselves when it comes to procurement. we have to buy at a certain price. So that price has to be locked in from a annual pricing contract point of view, or whatever is decided and prefixed as a price point. So I think the critical part is choosing and qualifying these partners, which are not only following the quality protocols but also are able to work upon a certain price format which is agreed upon with a certain variance, is how we see it.
Okay. Also, you've gone listed very recently. September 2025 is when DSM Fresh Foods went public.
Yeah.
What really motivated you to go to the markets, list yourself? What did you want to do with the funds raised, and what was the primary goal behind the IPO?
Yeah, so we never thought that we'll go IPO this early, frankly. But the public markets were really booming, and then it was a good time to go listing. So what we thought was that this will be a growth spurt, which we can anticipate. So this is the growth capital which we wanted to raise from the public investors. I found it myself more relevant to this ecosystem as compared to the private equity and the venture capital funding side of it, because the public markets respect efficiency and profitability more than the private markets, at least at that point. And now I think the it's keep changing here and there, but I thought that this is a more larger framework which you are able to abide by, where there is a set guidelines of SEBI and everybody. So you follow that process, and that's about it. In the private ecosystem, however, there are too many cyclical changes which keeps happening. Sometimes the mood, the theme is this, sometimes it is that. So I didn't find that very stabilizing as a long-term project. And then we thought that committing to public market in terms of the long-term view is the best approach. And we are actually the first D2C food business to be listed also. So again, like to be the first in whatever we do. So that I think was a good spinning story for us and for the industry also.
Okay. And if you could also break it down for us, how much of the IPO proceeds are being deployed where, whether it's expansion, infrastructure, debt reduction, whatever else
Yeah,
is.
so we have about 15 crores which we have taken as a part of marketing, about 11 crores in infrastructure, about 20 25 crores. 25 crores is in working capital, and rest is for general corporate expenses. That's a broader mix.
Okay. But typically, the Banshu, overall, if you look at the way things are at the company, what has actually changed post-listing, whether it's
Oh,
governance, access to capital, customer trust, anything that has really stood
a
out?
lot, a lot. See, from a governance point of view, I'd not say that it has changed a lot, because we had private equity with us, so we knew generally how to build compliances and follow all the regulations at a private level. Now the public spectrum is slightly different, but I would not call it really suffocating in that manner. So it's governance, I would say, not much of shocking things which we are able to face. We are pretty fine with it. So it has been a good thing, actually. What I mean. And then the other part of credibility, I think, has risen to the roof. We are able to attract a lot of serious partners to work with us at a vendor level, at every level, at a strategic level. You're able to demand and also attract a certain type of human resource also. So credibility overall 360 degree has impacted across the board. People have started taking us more seriously, and it's been anyways 11 years, 10, 11 years. So we are not anymore a startup per se. And yeah, I think overall it has been great. I mean, loving the journey.
Wonderful. And typically when any food tech or a food related IPO comes to the market, there are often a lot of high expectations. So, what should investors realistically track when it comes to your company over the next 2 to 3 years to assess whether Zapfresh is, doing well post IPO beyond just the top line growth? What are the parameters that we should be tracking and following then?
I think innovation is core. We would always be innovating, bringing new things to the fold. And because that's how you are able to inorganically take leaps in the business, and not just organically structurally grow the business. And then of course, our performance is from a financial point of view. We are operating in one of the high opportunity market, high demand, high consumption. So scale for us, I don't think will ever be a problem. It is mostly about how we are building, the organization, how we are realizing the vision of being a large food conglomerate. Is something which we will see different milestones coming in between. So one will be able to put the pieces together, as we keep coming with new initiatives, new strategic partnerships, multiple different handshakes with different government bodies. So a lot is in the store. It just got listed, so there's a long journey ahead of us, and it's a conglomerate in the making, in my view.
Dipanshu, who are the people who are helping you bring this vision to reality in terms of execution? And talk to us about the leaders within your organization who are driving this phase of growth for you and, ensuring everything is aligned and ensuring accountability as a listed company. I mean, of course, that is an important part of the game.
Yeah. So recently started building the leadership team after listing, and as I said, that we started attracting senior leaders who are aligning to the vision. So we have Akhil recently joined us as a chief strategy officer, looking after the overall execution and the strategy with me. He comes with 25 years of experience with India Bulls. He was heading one of the NBFCs with them. He was a CEO. So most of the people in the leadership team have been CEOs of certain projects, either in a large format of a company or a smaller project. We have COO as well, who is looking after the entire operation, logistics, supply chain. So that guy also is Surinder. He's worked with a small chain of grocery stores. Worked as a CEO there. So overall, the theme at leadership for us is entrepreneurial in nature. Okay.
Hmm.
And even the acquisitions which we have done, like the Mumbai one, the team gets retained when we acquire these projects. So those entrepreneurs then become the leaders to multitask and build certain initiatives, and take care of charge of multi-city operations, business growth, everything. So it's a very dynamic, not in a box kind of a scenario, where you are given a lot of freedom to do what you like to do and take ownership kind of people. And people who don't think in small or big, they just think they have to impact is what critical at the leadership level.
Okay. Just a final question about the long-term vision for Zapfresh. If you, have to give us any projections of the next 5 to 7 years, where do you see the company in terms of revenue scale, your footprint, and product mix?
So as I said, that we will be across the board when it comes to food. We are looking at diversification in different spaces. Ready to cook, ready to eat is of high interest for us. So we'll be developing new categories, venturing into businesses from a product standpoint, which are complementing the fresh chilled meat business. That's one on the broad strategy level. In terms of size, there is really no dearth of what you can achieve in terms of revenue volume in our space. As I said, that achieving a revenue of 1,000 crores, 2,000 crores is not, frankly, the single most important benchmark for me. What is very critical is how we are building efficiency across the board, across categories, what kind of integrations we have at the back end,
Mm,
because that's going to enable profitability at large. And also look at how we are able to build impact at a farmer ecosystem level as well. Okay, so at a local level, at a SME level, because essentially we are an SME company, and we believe that India's backbone is SMEs. So we do feel to collaborate a lot with the relevant stakeholders, whether it is a retail shop or it is a small hotel, restaurant, or a small startup as a business. So this collaborative approach is going to bring thrust, which is going to be very, very strong from a impact point of view, revenue point of view. Yeah, broadly, I think these are three, four thoughts which I have in terms of how I see moving forward. And the vision is to really, as I said, be a conglomerate which will have diverse interests and in different food categories, operating and complementing each other as businesses. Yeah, that's broadly how I picture it.
great. That's a great picture that you've painted for us and your investors as well. So hopefully they'll all keep a close watch on what the company will be up to over the next few years. Thank you so much once again for
Thank you.
taking time out and joining us on Small Cap Spotlight.
Thank you so much, Karuna. It has been a pleasure talking to you.